Well, this week you will be engaging your second piece of fictional creative work. Last week, of course, was Kafka's Metamorphosis. This week our focus is on the film Wit. And once again, we are testing, you might say, the idea that engagement with fictional creative work has a capacity to increase our understanding of the things that impact the human experience of illness and injury, deepen our empathy, and our own self-awareness. I would also remind you of the idea that one of the purposes of the Health Humanities is to enable and encourage more fearless questioning of all the factors that shape our experience of illness and injury, or shape our experience of the quest for health. This film, I think, could be seen as doing some fearless questioning of a variety of things, not least of which is how prepared any of us are to face a potentially terminal illness and death, and as well how prepared healthcare professionals are for engaging us as human beings in going through such an experience. The film is based on a play by Margaret Edson. It's the only play that Edson wrote. She spent most of her career as a clerk in an AIDS and cancer treatment ward, and then later as a public school teacher. Her play was made into a film, the film you'll be watching, by Mike Nichols. Nichols is known for his directorial work on such classics as The Graduate, Catch-22, Silkwood, and The Birdcage. It stars acclaimed British actress Emma Thompson, and it tells the story of a middle-aged English professor named Vivian Baring, who is diagnosed with advanced ovarian cancer, from which she eventually dies. One of the most interesting aspects of the film and the play on which it's based is the way it portrays Vivian Baring speaking directly to us, the viewers of the play or the film. This is called breaking the fourth wall. Stepping out of the fictional world of the movie, acknowledging the presence of the audience, and creating a sort of community of intimacy with us, the audience, or the viewer. Don't let this throw you when it happens. Notice this from an important review of the play. Wit is not a story of survival. Instead, the film deconstructs the typical tale of staying strong through cancer treatment, overcoming the odds, and surviving. The film skillfully constructs a story of repair and restoration of the individual, not through treatment of the body ravaged by cancer, but by admitting one's weaknesses, exposing oneself, and perhaps most frightening of all, relinquishing control, and in the process becoming vulnerable. In the end, one is left with the feeling that the main character of the play is being healed, not cured. That's a quote from Edson herself in personal communication to the writer of the review. Now, you might think from this quotation that you're going to see healthcare providers in this film who have learned how to care, even as they are unsuccessful in their attempt to cure Vivian Baring. But one thing you should pay attention to is the contrasting relationship she has with her two primary doctors, who are not very caring, and one very caring nurse who is a part of her healing, even as she is not cured. All right, I have provided you some background material to help you understand and get the most you can out of the film. The first is a handout that offers a series of questions to think about as you watch the film. I'd suggest you review that before you watch the film, and maybe even take some notes related to the questions asked there as you watch. Wit, a review, may be the most important or helpful thing here. I would look at it carefully after you have viewed the film. It is the piece from which that quotation I used earlier came. The WIT PowerPoint is one I prepared when I taught this film in Health Humanities for the first time. It includes some links to excerpts from the film that illustrate some of its most important themes. That might be very useful to you after you've watched the play. You will see also that it depends heavily on the review I have just mentioned. By the way, that PowerPoint includes the sonnet by John Donne that is a central aspect of the film, and the question surrounding how one particular line in that sonnet should be punctuated. At Wit's End is an interesting commentary on the play. It suggests that physicians, and I would say all healthcare professionals, should, quote, become personally engaged with the play's broad underlying themes, unquote, which it identifies as dignity, relationship, and forgiveness. The goal would be for healthcare professionals to, quote, relate to dying patients more fully as fellow human beings, unquote, thereby radically improving the care of the dying. Well, surely you don't have to read At Wit's End, but if you want to dig more deeply into the film after you've watched it, you might learn a great deal from this essay. For your discussion board post this week, I used ChatGPT myself. I asked it what Margaret Edson meant when she said that Vivian Baring in the play or the movie is being healed but not cured. What it gave me was those following two paragraphs that I won't read to you here. So here's the question you will address in your discussion board. Do you agree that Vivian has been healed but not cured in the sense described here in these two paragraphs? Why or why not? Be sure to describe specific scenes that are relevant to your answer. And this is the reflective essay, which will be due at the end of next week. What does WIT suggest or eliminate for you with respect to how patients experience severe illness and dying? What role, if any, does Donne's sonnet play in the debate about its proper punctuation, in the insights you gain about the experience of severe illness and dying? What questions or challenges would you offer the film with respect to its perspective on these matters? Are there aspects of the experience of severe illness and dying that it gets wrong or misses entirely, in your opinion? What questions are you left with about such experiences? So you can see this is asking you to do some deep personal reflection on what you learned from the film and what questions you still have about the experience of a terminal illness after having watched it. And let me remind you that by Sunday evening, you should have completed the third step in our creative writing exercise, which is to write your comments in the Google Docs shared with you, where your classmates have shared their draft scenes with you. And focus on these following questions. What can be changed or enhanced to make the character more believable, to make you care about it more, to better understand their inner life? What can be changed or enhanced to make it a better story in Frank's sense, or more clearly focused on the theme that your classmates have identified? Okay, well, I hope you have a great week, and most of all, I hope you find your engagement with WIT one that is as valuable and insightful and moving as I think it is. So, have a great week.